All right, David. So I know we chatted before this call a little bit. I appreciate your time here this morning. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. We're going to go ahead and just kind of start off a little bit about your previous experience. So you did mention you were in the military for 21 years. So can you talk to me a little bit about where your career started in that and a little bit of in between and where you ended?
Actually, I enlisted in the Coast Guard in 1974 when I turned 18. And that was something that, frankly, my mother had cancer at the time, and I had no dad at the time. So I left home to be on my own and to not be a burden to my family. So I went there. I went to Alaska out of boot camp and spent a little time up there. Then I went down to Seattle and then California. And then I was sent to school in California in Petaluma, where I became a storekeeper, where I did finance and supply for my career in the Coast Guard. I went through the enlisted ranks, made chief warrant officer in 11 years, which I was among the youngest in the Coast Guard in that rank. And after 18 years, I was advanced to a lieutenant, went into the regular officer ranks, and I ran retail for the Coast Guard. I was lucky enough that I got selected for a 2-year program where my job was to go to school and get an associate's degree or beyond. I had quit high school, and I always held that against myself. So I was going to night classes for college. So I had a year of college under my belt when I started that 2-year program. And in the 2 years, I did 3 years worth of college, and I graduated summa cum laude. So I did very well. And I ran the Coast Guard's largest military exchange in New York, Governor's Island, New York, where I was promoted to lieutenant. And then I went to Avondale, Louisiana as the logistics officer and the administration officer. And I retired there. And I have basically, I get a retirement check every month, which is great. And I have medical through the Coast Guard, so I'm not looking for medical benefits or anything like that.
Okay. Okay. Where was your favorite place that you traveled to throughout your time in the military?
Oh, actually, believe it or not, in the Coast Guard, Kansas.
Kansas. Okay.
I was I was part of automating the Coast Guard's pay and personnel system. And the Coast Guard Pay and Personnel Center was in Topeka, Kansas. And it was put there at a time when the checks were still mailed. And the reason it was put there was the center of the company so that checks would be distributed all over the country and arrive about the same time. And I was, as I say, involved in automating this system, and I received the Coast Guard Achievement Medal for my part in that, for innovation, for understanding computers, and for team building, because I had a group of 25 people that worked for me,
Okay.
and we did very well.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, let's move forward a little bit. You've worked in between, but you were the CFO for a chemical injection technologies.
Yes,
So talk to me a little bit about what you did there.
I pretty much did everything accounting wise. I had a woman who worked for me who did the order entry, and she did most of the invoicing. So I did some of the invoicing, but I did all of the AP. I did all of the AR, the collections, and uh, everything beyond the basic invoicing. I did account reconciliations. I did weekly cash flows and the budgeting. I did uh, inventory control. I did purchasing. I did all the inventory control and purchasing for the company. So I'm very adept at doing that. Um, and there were other things I did that are escaping me right now.
That's okay. I know it's been, a little bit. You were there for, roughly that 7.5 years, and that's been a
Right.
little bit of time, but good to know. And you said, what in particular did this company do? It's a manufacturing setting, and what was their
Manufacturing of chlorinators, ammoniators, and sulfonators for municipal water systems and smaller water systems as well. Wherever
okay.
people needed chlorinated water, that's where they sold their equipment.
Okay, perfect. And then from there, you've done a bunch of accounting. So, you know, most recently we talked again. You were a controller over 6 companies. So, can you elaborate a little bit on what those companies were, and, or I guess I should say industries, and then what you did there?
I did more account reconciliations than anything. It was, I oversaw AP and AR, and the companies were 2 construction companies. One was a construction management company, the other one was actually a general contractor. And I had a consulting company that did construction based consulting.
Okay.
And there was a design and construction company
Okay.
that designed buildings and what have you. And then the construction companies on the other side did the building. And I think I missed one, didn't I?
Let's see here. So you've got
New
construction, you have
construction,
um,
consulting.
mhm, commercial leasing.
Oh, commercial leasing. That's
Yep.
what I missed.
Yeah.
Is 2 of the companies were leasing buildings,
Okay.
building space, and office spaces, and that kind of a thing.
Okay. Awesome. And moving forward into your next role, what is important to you?
I want a company that is stable. I want a job that is stable. I don't want to move around anymore. It's stressful to move from job to job, but unfortunately, I didn't feel a good fit in the last position, so I left after only 6 months there, and it's not something I wanted to do. So I'm just looking for a good fit more than anything, and
Okay.
I need to earn ample money to make a living. And
Absolutely.
that's what
That's
we
always
work for.
important. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. I completely understand that. All right. Great.